Well, good morning everybody and welcome to that Kentuckessee Angler Show. In today's video, we're going to be raiding two very budget-friendly combos, exploring an absolutely gorgeous creek, and of course, catching some fish. The first of the two combos we're going to be taking a hard look at today is the Ozark Trail Wayfarer Spinning Combo, which is going to run you about 10 bucks. And on the other hand, we're going to be taking a look at the Zebco Slingshot. This is very similar spec-wise, and it's going to cost you about $30. Our goal is to work a few different lures, catch a handful of fish on each rod, and then really assess them and give them a solid rating. $10, $30, those are pretty inexpensive combos, very budget-friendly. Let's see how they perform in this creek. So we are on the way to our first spot today, and one I'm very confident in fishing. If you've seen this show before, you might have seen me fish here. I think this is the way in to some lesser touched creek through the woods. So this area hasn't failed me too much. It's a pain in the butt to get to. I mean, straight up, has some pretty thick stuff, but it's 100% worth it. I got a feeling we're going to be able to knock off our skunk here and then some. And here we go, an absolutely stunning stretch of creek. So the water is pretty badly stained right now, and it's not as high as I'd like it to be for its current stainage. We had some rain the other night. It really affects this creek. So like upon that initial rainfall, this whole area gets clouded up, but it also clears up pretty quickly. So great spot all around, fun to fish. And this area is just stunning, man. It is very beautiful. So I do want to start out down here where it kind of chokes up. We have a little bit of depth considering how shallow this creek is today, which it's not abnormally shallow. It's just been very high over the last few months due to the amount of rain we've had. But this spot can be pretty good. We'll see how she's working today. I have a feeling I'm gonna have to put this bait right in front of these fish's faces. Due to the clarity we're dealing with, it is pretty murky right now. Typically this stuff's like crystal clear. And here we are, our first spot, and the one that hopefully breaks our skunk. We have a little bit of grass down there, this kind of open pocket, this open pool. There is a bit of depth to this area. That's why I wanted to start out here. And we have a really nice flow right there that often holds somewhat aggressive fish, whether it be long-eared sunfish, smallies, spots, that sort of deal. We do have the Bass Trifecta here, your largemouth, your smallie, your spotted bass. Hopefully we can catch a few of those out here. But I did want to start out with the 1/8 ounce rooster tail because it's going to open us up to all of those species. And yeah, it just works really well in this creek. We got a little bit of flash, we got a little bit of sun. I think it's going to help us out. This is very stained right now. So the Ozark Trail Wayfarer is a 5'6" 2-piece spinning combo. It's a medium light and it's rated for 1/16 to 3/4 ounce, 6 to 10 pound line. We're running 6 pound mono on it right now. Now these specs are nearly identical. In fact, I think they are exactly identical. I don't know about the line, but the weight range, the power, exactly the same as the Zebco. I found that pretty interesting, and it's going to make for a great comparison out here. Let's rip a couple casts off and get that skunk off our back. If I don't pull anything out of this little pocket in like 2-3 casts, we're going to jump over there and target that flow. I am trying to preserve these rooster tails. Well, I brought a bunch of other lures I want to work. These are probably what's going to work best, and I only have 3. Oh, there we go, bump immediately. Oh, fish on. Whoa, dude. Nice, beautiful. All right, let's just get her out of here. I think that's a nice smallie, man. Uh-oh, am I wrapped up? Please. All right, we're just gonna let her. Might very well have to go in there and get this fish. I find it's best not to really like tug too much when this sort of thing happens. Okay, I got her out. There we go. Just kind of give her a little bit of line. Beautiful, man. Beautiful smallie. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, she bit me. There we go. Well, there we go, our first fish of the day, and an absolutely gorgeous smallie right out of that flow. We're gonna give that a little bit of time to recover, and we might throw another cast into there. That's probably a pretty good cue at what we should be targeting right now, those high flow areas. Really gorgeous fish though. Let's get her back in. And thank you so much for being our first and breaking that skunk. Off she goes, right back to that little source of cover. So we're making our first switch to that Zebco Slingshot, which is another 5.6 medium light rod. It has identical specs, which I found pretty interesting. We're running 6-pound mono again and the exact same rooster tail. Let's see if we can pull another fish. I do want to try that pocket one more time. We're going to let it cool down and fish this area out. There is a nice grass line down there. It's another kind of deep pocket with a little bit of streamage, a little bit of flow going on over here. And before I even get in, I want to throw some casts out right here, just in case, man. You never know. So first cast, we had a few bumps. I think they were little minnows. We're just gonna work our way to that tree over there. Maybe I can cast at it. Hopefully not lose this thing again. I don't have a lot. Beyond this point, everybody and their grandma fishes it. Shout out to all the grannies out there, but we're not gonna be messing with that area too much. Nothing else out of that area despite trying for a good 15-20 minutes. This spot is typically all right. I think we might be able to catch something out of here. Really, now that I can see the sun playing on the water, it is a lot more stained than I had anticipated it being. Not saying we're not going to absolutely slay them out here. I think we will be able to catch some nice fish, but it might be a little more challenging than I had anticipated. So right now it doesn't look like there's much of it, but there is a flow that comes from just beyond those trees, and there's one that comes from over here. Something spooked right there. I couldn't tell if that was a turtle or a fish, but we'll start out under this tree. It is deeper than it looks. Okay, felt a little nibble. What is going on with this rod right now? Oh my gosh. So this just in, nasty, horrible wind knot, worst one I've ever had in my life. Is it this reel's fault? I think partially it is. It's partially my fault as well for not recognizing it quicker. I am very disciplined when it comes to my spinning reels. I always close my bail by hand. I started feeling a bit of weird resistance after doing so, and sure enough, we have the worst wind knot I've ever had in my life. It's actually knotted around the spool and I can't get it out, so I'm gonna have to cut all this crap out. Very, very unfortunate, huge time waster. Now this is very, very cheap mono. Come on, dude. Again, this is not 100% that reel's fault. It was partially mine for not recognizing that issue, but this doesn't happen to me very often, and I do partially blame it on how cheap that reel is and how cheap it feels. Look at all that line wasted. And round two. So I do always make a conscious effort never to have like negative stuff in these videos, even when I am in a bad mood out here, which does happen from time to time. But I think it's important that I do share that piece since we are talking about the experience with these rods out on the water. There we go, that's a fish. A little bit of redemption. That makes me feel a lot better. Feeling better now, guys, feeling better. What are we working with? Beautiful, long ear. And another good sign, we were able to catch her out of this area that I kind of explained to y'all with a nice little bit of flow. These fish are super beautiful. And just look at her, man. Look at the way that sun's playing on that fish right now. Gorgeous. I love them, man. Never get tired of catching those guys. Well, since we already have this tied on and I enjoy catching that fish, we're gonna throw this out there. On my initial retrieve before that crazy stuff happened with this reel, I did have a couple swipes, so I'm not shocked. There we go. And another one. Awesome, itty bitty little baby. Okay, feeling totally recharged now. Let's get some soft plastic tied on these rods. Pretty one. We are making our first bait switch to a soft plastic grub on a 1/8 ounce ball head jig with a sickle type hook right here. This is the Guggen Baits Chubby Grubby. It'll be my second time throwing it. I had some pretty good success in this creek with this bait the first time I tried it out, and I'm hoping today follows suit. And we are venturing forth to our next location, which is just beyond that taller grass. There's a nice little flow point and there's some deeper pockets here. After we trek through this, we'll come reapproach it once this water kind of settles. So we're working our way through this grass right now. You can see we do have a little bit of flow in this area. I wanted to approach it from this side. Last time I was here, I took the other side, which was easier to navigate, but I felt like I was spooking a lot of fish. Let's see what we can do. Oh my gosh, that was a, oh yeah, we're on first cast. I saw that fish. I wonder if that's gonna show up on that camera. Nice, 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 right off that grub. Oh, she shook it, but y'all saw we did just catch one. That's a shame, man. That was a decent bass. All right, let's get another one out here. There we go. There we go. Oh, all right, so an issue I'm having with this rod right away is the drag. I'm gonna show y'all what I'm talking about in a second. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Not quite as big as that first one. That first one was nice, man. That was a good sized fish. But we got a hard fighter right here. A beautiful spotted bass, man. Just look at her. She's absolutely stunning. Thanks for biting, girl. And it looks like we found him. These smaller flow points are what we're gonna have to target today. Right up here, right in that grass line, kind of where I expected her to be. So drag-wise, okay, check this out, man. There's no clicking feature on this. Obviously, right now we have like no drag, but it will literally just spin freely off. So once we get to about here, that's good drag, man. You know, a little tighter, that's what I'm comfortable with, really. It's almost on the tighter side, but there's no like fine line for drag adjustment. What's been happening is when I hook into a fish or when I just gently knock this, it spins free and I start losing drag control. It's kind of a pain in the butt when it is clamped down to where that won't happen. Like, you get nothing, man. So that's a real thing, real pain in the butt here. This is a very, very cheap reel. So is the Zebco one. The reel is loose and stiff in all the wrong places. This handle is very, very wobbly. There's a lot of play in it when you're just kind of straight up rotating it. It does feel off, what you'd expect out of like a $10 combo, right? And the bail's extremely stiff. Nothing out of that little spot on the old Zebco. We are once again trekking through a little wooded area to another lesser touch stretch of creek. Hopefully we're gonna be able to pull some fish there. I do want to catch some on this soft plastic on the old Zebco. We'll see what we can do. This is what we're working with right now. Not super easy to get through, but there are some game trails we can kind of follow. It's actually not as bad. Oh, dude. It's actually not as bad as the last time I was here. Another really cool area right here. All things considered, I mean, we caught some beautiful fish, but it has been a fairly challenging day. I can usually pinpoint these fish a little easier than I can right now. I'm not surprised. We did have some rain and it has been extremely hot out. Fish on, fish on. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, she's not huge, but I have been working for this one, man. Beautiful largie. Well, we've hit the trifecta today, my friends. We've caught a largemouth, a smallmouth, and a spotted bass, all out of the same body of water. Pretty one, and we're super thankful for her. That's a soft plastic knocked off on that Zebco. I've traveled a long way for that fish. So we ran our rooster tails, we ran some soft plastics. I got a good feel for both methods of fishing. We're gonna switch back over to rooster tails, well, because we're about to hammer them, man. Let me tell you, the amount of little tail nips I had on this grub throughout this area right here was absolutely absurd. I wanna backtrack, I wanna pick up some of these big bluegills and big long ears. So we're back to that 1/8 ounce rooster tail on our Walmart Ozark Trail Wayfair rod. If you guys don't know, Ozark Trail is Walmart's outdoors brand, like their generic fishing brand. Let's see how long this takes first cast. Yep, thought so, man. And we have a new species. We're just having a multi-species day. This is a creek chub. Pretty funny looking. And an itty bitty little creek chub. Just take a look at her, man. That's a cool fish. You'll find these at a lot of these flows, a lot of the shallower flows throughout the creek. We do have a little depth for this one, so I am hoping to pull possibly a bass or a big chunky gill out of here. Let's see what we can do, man. I bet we get knocked second one through too. I've been wrong before. So one difference I am noticing with this reel, I just double checked and I was right, is that it does have a slightly faster gear ratio than that Zebco. It does pick up line a little bit faster, which made it easier for me to work those soft plastic lures on it. Then again, it's a wonky feeling reel. It doesn't feel comfortable. I don't really like it. I'm gonna say I like the Zebco reel just a little bit more. There we go. Oh, and our drag again is slipping, man. But I mean, for $10, like, what do you expect, right? Another little bass. Largemouth. Oh, I'll see you later then. That was cool, couple little fish. I told you, man, we would start slaying as soon as I switched over the inline spinner. Let me tell you, I fished that pocket out pretty hard too. I bet we could continue pulling fish out of there. This right here, this is interesting, man. I don't know what to think about this. I think that's rubber. I don't like that. And we got our Zebco on with our lime green spinner, man. This looks like it's probably packing a bunch of either, oh yeah, we're getting knocked right away. What are those? Just minnows or? Okay, that's a juvenile long ear right there. You probably can catch one of them out of here. Let's see what we can do. Yeah, they're definitely knocking it. So rod-wise, they both have their strengths and weaknesses. Now this one right here, my casting placement is just way more accurate. They're the same length, but this one has a shorter handle. I think it's just kind of balanced a little bit better. However, the Ozark Trail one seems to be a bit more sensitive. I prefer working the soft plastics on that, whereas I prefer working the inline spinners on this one. These fish are, I think they're too small, man. So we're gonna keep working our way through this absolutely gorgeous creek. These Tennessee creeks are hard to beat, man. They're absolutely stunning. This little pocket right here, that's gonna be packing. I can tell you right now because I threw that soft plastic in there and there were a bunch of panfish trying to eat it. It is just an absolutely beautiful day out here. Let's see if we can pull one first cast. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, that's a little bit different, man. Whoops. Little slippery bluegill, super pretty, man. There you go. Another species unlocked today. I bet we could pull another one out of here as well. Oh, there we go. Oh man, long ear, super pretty one, super colored up one. We just had to show this one off. Look how gorgeous she is, man. Super pretty fish right there. All right, and we'll see you later. So we're just backtracking right now. I did walk quite a ways throughout this creek. This stuff right here, man, that's chub country. I bet we can pick one off. So these rods do seem to handle 1/8 ounce to 1/4 ounce pretty well. I'd feel comfortable with that weight range, even 1/16 ounce. But let me tell you, anyone who tries to throw 3/4 on this is an absolute madman. Okay, we're already getting dogged. I can see why they put it there. They want to sell more rods or whatever, dude, but that can't be a good experience. We got one on. Chubs City, USA, baby. Oh, am I wrong? Yeah, it's a little long here. Smallest fish of the day. Thanks for biting, buddy. Oh yeah. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Little largy, man, little mini fish. Oh, it's out of this tiny little stream. And he came up and dogged that thing. Super pretty one. And we're just moving up in this little area we're pulling them out of. I think they're sitting in this grass. Oh, there we go. And another. What are you? This grass, man, it'd be holding. It's kind of like a narrow choke point. It gets, the flow is there that you can't really see it on the water. And there's that grass skirting, ouch, both the sides. Another little long ear. We just got knocked. There we go. Little feller. Another itty bitty. Well, I hope y'all have enjoyed the video so far. If you have, drop a like, comment, subscribe. It all helps push the channel and I greatly appreciate it. Now let's get into these rods. So we're gonna start out with our specifications, which is very easy to do because these rods are, again, identical. I've said that multiple times, so I'm gonna stop saying that right now, I promise. But I do wanna cover it. Anyhow, these are both two-piece, okay? So they're both two-piece rods. Two-piece wise, it's a decent fit. I had to reset it several times, but that's the nature of a two-piece rod. The tip kind of gets twisted around, but it's pretty snug in there. It's not going to be flying out every cast, no issues there. Anyhow, guys, they are both 5'6" medium light rods with recommendations for line being 6 to 10 pound and recommendations for weight being 1/16 to 3/4 of an ounce, which is a mega stretch. I would never throw 3/4 of an ounce on this rod. I wouldn't throw 1/2 of an ounce. I found that 1/8 ounce to a 1/4 ounce weight range fit both of these rods fairly well. When it comes to these two combos, the biggest difference lies within the blank. So if you're unfamiliar with that term, if you're kind of getting into fishing, if you're newer to these rods and you're looking for a good budget rod, when I'm speaking on the blank, I'm talking about the actual rod and what it's composed out of. Now, the Zebco Slingshot is made out of glass, all right? So it's made out of fiberglass. On the other hand, our Ozark Trail Wayfarer rod, I can hardly talk right now. It's a lot to say, man, okay? So our Ozark Trail rod is made out of a blend of graphite and glass, all right? That's what I read, but it does feel fairly graphite-y, if you know what I mean. When it comes to choosing between these blanks, it's quite a rabbit hole we could jump down right now. However, we're gonna keep it simple. We're talking about a $20 price difference right now. So your glass blank is gonna be a lot more durable. That is the biggest benefit of throwing this rod right here. Your graphite blank is gonna be more sensitive, okay? It's gonna be a little snappier, a little faster. However, it is a bit more delicate. So that's pretty much the biggest difference you're working with. Obviously, we caught fish on both rods. It can be easily done. Aesthetically, the Zebco, I think it's a little sharper, man. I think it's a little cooler. You get kind of a cool graphic right there. Now, it was hard for me to find information on what these rods are composed out of. I don't imagine a lot of people that are buying these like, $10 to $30 combos are really digging into the materials their actual guides are made out of, but these are pretty heavy duty, man. I've actually bent these back into place. I've owned this rod for a hot minute, and these guides seem a little less durable, but sure, whatever, dude. They're functional. Guides are guides, man. On a cheap rod, it is what it is. You're not gonna be getting all the bells and whistles you are on like a $200-300 combo. So both these rods do have EVA foam, and you got kind of like a decorative ring here. Reel wise, this one has a slightly higher gear ratio. Let me see, where is it right now? Okay, we got a 5.5 by 1 over here. We're working with a 5.3 by 1. So yeah, they're both very, very cheap reels. That's the thing I hated the most about these combos. I guess hate's a strong word. That's the thing that put the worst taste in my mouth. It was very unpleasant working with these reels, man. Cheap reels are cheap reels, dude. It's just, I hate cheap reels. Performance-wise, basically what you'd expect out of a combo for $10 and for $30, okay? Nothing crazy here. I will say I was kind of impressed with the blank. It was a little more sensitive than I had initially anticipated, than I had initially thought. The first time I fished it, after giving it a little more time on the water, it was very responsive, it was snappy. It's not a horrible blank, okay? It's not super well balanced, though I did have a couple issues kind of getting casts out there. My cast placement felt kind of off, but I mean, it is what it is. Again, it's a $10 rod. However, that kind of the benefit of that was sucked away by how bad this reel was. It's awful, dude. It is a horrible reel, man. That's like the worst thing about both of these combos. It's the reels. The rods really aren't that bad. When it comes to the Zebco, I'd say this rod is a little more well balanced. Again, the blank's really not that bad, and the reel's a little bit better than that Ozark Trail Wayfarer rod. Now, in the price department, the Ozark Trail Wayfarer rod is currently listed at $1238, which kind of surprised surprised me. Actually, all of Walmart's tackle prices have recently spiked by a couple bucks, man, and it's kind of a drag, okay? There are certain baits I bought at Walmart. I'm not a rich man, so if I can save a buck, that's what I'm gonna do, okay? However, their tackle prices have kind of gone up, and it looks like their rod prices have as well. However, $12.38, not too bad. Sticking with Walmart for our pricing, the Zebco Slingshot is currently listed at $29.99. I will say this rod is frequently on sale. I bought it for like 11 bucks. Initially, when I purchased this rod, I gave it a very hard time. I bought this for a panfish fishing challenge type video, and I was throwing some pretty lightweight on it. Didn't handle it well, and really it made the features I don't like about it stand out a lot more. But taking a look back at that and looking at it now, I spent a little more time with it out on the water. It's really not that bad. Either is that Zebco. When it comes down to it, for the price, 10 bucks, $12.33, whatever it is, and the $30 Zebco even, that's a very low price to pay to get yourself out on the water, really discover the sport. If you're new to it, it would make a great gift for a kid, something like that. Or if you're going on a camping trip and you have to buy like 4 or 5 rods for your family. I don't really know, man. I'm just throwing things out there of how a rod like this could be useful. But let's get into rating them. So we're gonna start out by rating our Ozark Trail Wayfarer combo. Now keep in mind, I'm not trying to compare these rods to like $100, $200, $300 combos. That just wouldn't be fair. We're really comparing them to each other and other budget combos I've used in the past. So we're gonna give this ditty right here, this little rod reel combo, the $12.38 Walmart special, is gonna earn itself 2 stars, man. So 3 stars, that's average. That is our baseline. Yeah, I'd say this combo is certainly below average. The rod's not bad. The reel is my issue right here, okay? The whole that thing where this thing will shoot right off there with like no effort, that's an issue, man. It affected me out there on the water. I don't like that even from a cheap combo, and it feels like it wouldn't be a super hard thing to mitigate. I mean, the Zebco reel is very, very similar and it doesn't have that issue. So the Ozark Trail Wayfarer, man, you're pulling 2 stars. Next up, we have our Zebco Slingshot for $29.99, and we're gonna give her 3.5 stars. So just above average and well deserved, man. That's a fairly high rating. Again, I'm not comparing this to super expensive rods or anything like that. It's actually my first time ever rating rods on this channel, but it seems like a fair score. I'd consider this just slightly above average for the price, man. It's really not a bad rod. Again, it handles fish well. I've caught some nice fish on it. I've also fished this a few more times than that Ozark Trail rod, and I banged it up quite a bit. I wasn't gentle with it. I didn't really run into too many issues. Yeah, it's not a super expensive combo again, and the reel is pretty cheap, but you also don't have that crazy issue with the drag spinning freely all crazy and stuff. It's a little stiffer. I mean, I can even get at the point where we do the old flick, and it's not flinging off like that one or anything. All right, the reel does seem to be a little more quality than this combo right here. Again, it is $20 more expensive, but really, I'd pay $30 for this rod. In fact, I am gonna hand this one down to my own son when he's ready for his spinning combo eventually. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I had a great time making this one. As always, it was a pretty fun one to make. Now, there is a time and a place for rods like these, all right? But if you're looking for a hidden gem out there for like 30 bucks or sub $30, you're looking in the wrong place watching this video. It's not one of these guys, I'll tell you that much. They certainly have their flaws, but they're all right, man. And sometimes you just need an all right rod to get by. It serves its purpose. Anyhow, be good to yourselves and be good to each other. And yeah, I'll catch y'all later. Peace.